Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Hokey smokes. Definitely a brand new day, and for those of you that watched, thank you for watching. Oh boy, yesterday's vlog performed... Well, I don't perform very well anymore. You know, my vlog and all this is slowly dying, but, you know, it took a long time just to get close to even 25 views yesterday, and I still haven't broken 100, so yay. Life is life, you know. It's, if I need to adapt to a changing environment, and if I don't change, then things will happen. You know, you need to adapt. And as long as I don't, that's what's going to happen. So thank you for watching. If you do, it is greatly appreciated. It is raining outside, and so it's been dark and SADS, again, seasonal affective disorder, even with my SADS lamp, has just been kicking my backside to the curb and back. So that's been fun. Been doing my best, but oh boy, I mean, I woke up at 5:30 this morning, so I've been up for a fair time at 7:50 a.m. when I'm recording this, because it's taken so long to be able to get my brain working, and I'm barely getting my brain working, so thumbs up on that. And of course, to front load the video, yay! If you could, if you like what you see in here, interact with the YouTube algorithms and hit the like button. That would be very cool. Also, if you like what you see in here and you haven't already, if you could hit the subscription button, that would be very cool. Is that the button? I think so. Anyway, thank you if you could. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon.com patrons. You people here that are on the screen have been helping to keep me alive and keep my pets alive, and it's a very good thing. I am on disability, extremely limited income, and it just doesn't do it. And these people have been helping me be alive. If you'd like to help me be alive, you could become a Patreon.com patron as well. I'm trying to work on things to make it all better, so here's hoping, but thank you all. Enjoy front-loading. Still though, I've been trying my best to at least exist. Biochemical changes in the body that you have no control over are so much fun. I spent about 55 to 57 years of my life as a night owl. I always had trouble getting to sleep at night because my circadian rhythm wanted me to be up later. And I would drag all day as I got older, and then as the nighttime came, I would become energized. And I spent a long time just working graveyard because that's when I was awake and I was sleepy during the day, so that's what I did. Then, because of my alcoholism and getting sober, things broke apart and fell, and then I got married after I went through rehab and became sober. And my wife was a diurnal, daytime, so I did my best to be a daytime person. I dragged all day. All day. It was just awful, trying to keep my eyes open. And then as soon as the sun went down, I energized and woke up. I'm going to be turning 59 here in just a couple days, and about 2-3 years back, all of a sudden that changed. When it gets dark at night, I get sleepy and tired. When the sun comes up, that's when I'm energized. I have become diurnal instead of nocturnal. After 57 years, so I've had 2 years to try and get used to the change, and it's still weird. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I've been a night owl. I've been nocturnal my whole life, and I've been happy that way. Now, all of a sudden, it's changed. I mean, I've tried to change before and couldn't, and now that I've, got used to it, suddenly everything's different. So, biochemistry is fun. Thumbs up for that. Still though, I have also been trying to continue to learn things, and some of the weird stuff that I've learned is just that weird. First thing, I was just watching a video. There's this one person that all of their YouTube videos and their compilations, cut downs of their streams, and I don't know what they do on their live streams, but it's like they just look at maps and talk about maps. Not normal maps, silly maps, like maps of where people live, and then, maps of what languages are spoken and maps of these things, and they're really weird, and some of them are just sarcastic maps. But then there was the map of languages, and I wanted to double check on that because it said Washington State. The most common language after the most common languages, which are English and Spanish here in Washington State, because there is no official language of the United States, so there's a lot of languages spoken. But the third most common is Chinese in Washington State, which I guess would make sense. There is a sizable Asian population in Seattle. There's the Chinatown section, which is a massive concentration of Asian people. So I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, after all, there was a massive amount of Chinese people brought in to build the railroads like 150, 200 years back. And then, of course, horrendous and hideous, what is that word? Discrimination and more against Chinese people afterward. We bring them in by the hundreds and millions to work on, not millions, hundreds and thousands to work on stuff. We don't give them a way to get back home, and then we punish them for being here after they're done. So, history is wonderful. But still, I was rather surprised about that, because the languages across the rest of the U.S. are wide and varied. The most common after the most common, English and all. There's French in a lot of places. There's German in a lot of places. Vietnamese is a huge language, especially down in the southern areas of the U.S. So it was thumbs up on that. And then, of course, looking at some of the maps of the world and population, I remembered, a lot of people live around water, and I've lived around water most of my life. Few times I haven't. Germany, when I was in the Air Force in Germany, didn't live near water. Not a lot of coastal areas in Germany. And when I was in Texas, basic training, and then tech school for the Air Force. So I was at Lackland Air Force Base for basic, and then I went to Shepherd Air Force Base for my tech training, and then afterward I was in Florida and near the coast again. In fact, the first year I was in Florida, I was in Homestead, which is on the Panhandle, pretty close to Pensacola, and then I went to Germany for 2 years, and when I came back I was down in Homestead, which isn't on the water. The Homestead kind of exists again. They sort of rebuilt, but there was Hurricane Andrew in the 90s, and Homestead Air Force Base was down to the foundations. There was nothing left. So they've rebuilt, I guess, but it was still like 30 miles south of Miami, and you had to drive for a long time to get to the coast. For 2 years of my life, I've not lived near water, but most of my life beside that, I've lived in Bellingham, Washington, which of course is a port city, and then I've lived in places like Blaine, Washington, which is a port city, and now I live in Shelton, Washington, which is a port town. So when the waters start rising hard here across most of the continental U.S., oh boy, because I'm like right at sea level. Well, I'm not. The town is. But I'm not. I live in southern Shelton, and from southern Shelton to downtown Shelton, it's like 200, 300 feet of elevation. Downtown Shelton is like barely above sea level. The rest of it, southern Shelton and northern Shelton, are up on plateaus and mountains, so yay. But still, you gotta live near something. But it was 40% of the world's population, almost half, lives on coasts. And here in the United States, it's less. It's about 29% of the U.S. population lives on coasts. So there's a lot of people that don't, which I wouldn't like, just because I'm used to living near water. Just like I didn't like living in Florida, because when I grew up in Washington State, and Germany is much like Washington State, both geographically and weather-wise. So when I went to Germany, when I was at the Zembach Air Force Base, Air Base in Germany, which was really close to the edge of the French-German border, really close to Trier, which was celebrating its 2000th year as a city, while the U.S. was boasting and bragging about our 200th year as a nation. And of course, the U.S. was bragging about, our 200 years of being a democracy, and we'd be glad to help any of the European nations out because we're such experts on it. So, yay on that. But still, point being that I can't remember where I was going with that. ADHD. That's the other bad part. My ADHD meds, my tolerance for everything is sky high. I gotta go on to this one real quick. I was on so many medications for so long because nobody really knew why I was hurting so much and I was losing my mobility. I was on 28 different prescription meds, and I was on methadone. I've gotten off all of those meds and replaced them with cannabis, and it works. But the thing is, my tolerance is sky high. The last time I went in for a colonoscopy, they used fentanyl to knock you out. I was awake, conscious, asking questions as I watched on the monitors the colonoscopy. They kept pumping more and more fentanyl into me. I stayed awake until the end. I can only have vague memories of asking questions for the last third of it, but I was awake and asking questions. I have a sky-high tolerance for everything. I take 20 milligrams of Ritalin, methylphenidate hydrochloride, a few molecules away from street meth. I take Ritalin 20 milligrams 3 times a day. I'm under-medicated, but I can't be properly medicated. I would have to be filled with a dangerous amount that would probably kill me for me to get the amount that I need, because my tolerance is so high. My body just goes, oh, you've got this amount in you? We're going to, about this much we'll let, because we're so used to it, we can just get rid of it. And that's with everything. I mean, I partake of cannabis, enough cannabis before I record and talk and do anything at all. Other people are incapacitated. I get pain control and a vague sense of well-being. It works, but my tolerance is so sky high that I don't get much more than that. Life is life. At least it works. I get the pain control, because I mentioned before, when I'm using THC, I can do this. If I go 3-4 hours without partaking of any more cannabis and any more THC into my body, my hands will slowly start to hurt worse and just start to stick. Literally, my joints will start to click and crunch and hold, and I'll have to pop my knuckles more often. And when I finally do move them, they click and crunch. It sounds like I'm breaking a handful of sticks. And then I take some THC, get some cannabis, and then my hands move again. When I'm like this, I can do this. When I'm playing a game for a while and the THC is slowly getting out of my system, my hand locks around the mouse. And then to move it, I have to... But I partake of THC, no issues. So, at least it works, and that's a very good thing. I have, of course, also been thinking about a lot of things on my creative writing stuff and my settings and world building. I've been thinking a lot about the Crimson King on the inside and the domain of the Pale King and who and what the Pale King is. And then there's the Association of Sovereign States. But even though that's more inside, that's not the only places you can go. Inside is roughly infinite, and each door that you can go inside is infinitely far away from any other door because it's all infinitely large inside. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. There aren't many people that leave comments, generally less than 10. But 10, or even less than 10, is more than 0. So thank you very much. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with people, and I appreciate that. Now, if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language with my depression, fibro, ADHD, and a whole lot more, I'm sometimes lucky I can remember what my name is. I still forget that I have children and a sister. So, yay? We have Haley Laura, thumbs up and thank you so much. It is good to learn things. We have Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Confused Owl 29, always good to see you in the comments. And I still have a tab open for your video on your channel, so it's going to be watched. We have Joseph Freiling, thumbs up and thank you. We have Cherry TV, greatly appreciated. And there is Kurai Abernathy, thumbs up and thank you very much. Judith, greatly appreciated. We have Olivia, thumbs up and thank you. Germond, one day I'm going to be able to pronounce your name, but I doubt that. Germond Skogstad Lingus, thank you very, very much. And I'm sorry I keep slaughtering your name. But thank you all. 9 people over the last 24 hours left me comments on my videos, and it is appreciated. As stated, you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. Definitely a thumbs up. Even if it's for a short time, even if it's only in text, it still works, and thank you. So with my hands in the air, I do not know what device you're watching this on, so I do not know where the text video description is, but inside of that, I have links to all of my channels. If you could check that out, definitely a thumbs up. I also have links to my Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, and if you could, as stated, become a patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be truly beautiful and awesome. It is not pretty, it is not fun. These people are helping to keep me alive, and I appreciate that to no end. If you could help out, that would be very awesome. And if you'd like to help out without becoming a patron, I do have a link to my PayPal. I'm not above grubbing for any small amount that you can throw my way. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And I do have an Amazon wish list with things like cat food on it, so that my kitty cat can eat. A very, very good thing. I do need to put hamster bedding on there, so hopefully my executive dysfunction will allow me to do that today. Now, of course, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled, and if you cannot or simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. Definite thumbs up, and of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that is a definite thumbs up and a very good thing. Thank you so very much. Well, hokey smokes. I did next to nothing yesterday. I'm hopefully going to get a little bit more done today. It would be a very good thing. Hopefully you can get stuff done, but if you don't, that's fine too. You know, we're only human, and that's a good thing right there. So remember to seek creativity. Keep your brain working, keep your brain learning. Stave off dementia, a very good thing. Seek positivity. I spent many years as a very negative person. It only hurts you and the others around you. And seek balance. Moderation in all things. Not too much good, not too much bad. You need to experience everything, because to avoid pain just because it hurts is to cripple yourself emotionally. Balance in all things. And of course, with the Covfefe bug still raging, please, if you do not have to go out amongst others, don't. If you do, please wear a mask, maintain your social distancing, wash your hands as often as you can, try not to touch your face. You know, get vaxxed if you haven't been, and you can be. You know, don't do it if you're one of the very, very few that can't. Get a booster if it's available, and you are, whatever the word is, I've suddenly forgotten the word. You can get it. You know, get it if you can. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. That was very extravagant. And that is a very good thing.